Let's see if it works this time. So Luigi, the so-called killer, innocent until proven guilty. The news media is doing a lot of the standard, yes, we don't condone violence, and of course we never condone violence, and we don't. I'm not saying murder's justified, but they do all that. So I'm gonna go the other way for right now. I don't. To be honest, I don't really know how I feel. Because I don't know the guy. Before this, I would have to say, to make the analogy, the guy's kind of like an NPC in a video game. Kill him, don't kill him, I don't give a shit. But, the second it becomes real, like it's a person on the street and another person walks up and shoots him, I'd be like, that is, and I see it in front of me, not on the TV screen. I'd be like, whew, that is not cool, dude. That's kind of the way I approach the problem mentally. So, it's kind of my take on it. But yeah, but let's work it out from an academic perspective. Okay, so maybe it's good. I like that this guy died because let's work out all the possibilities. It's like, yes, it's good he was killed because this has both caused a lot of intrigue and debate and stuff, and it really showed how in stuff like Law and Order, there's all these victims all the time, and they're almost always either poor hookers or something like that, or just kind of middle of the road people. But every once in a while, there's really upscale, rich or powerful people. Like he's the commissioner's son or the commissioner's nephew or something like that. And then there's this citywide manhunt or something. And this was that guy, CEO. And they did exactly how they did in Law and Order SVU or Law and Order or any fucking name that TV show. They behaved exactly the same way they did in fucking TV. I mean, it could have been a fucking TV episode. And that's kind of pathetic. Immobilized. I mean, how many cases got put on hold for 72 hours? And so in doing that, did leads now are 4 cases not going to be solved because of that. What are the downstream implications of this? And I'm just talking about weeks. What about months? What about years? This trickles down, who knows? And then, that's for everybody's noticing already all of these other weird things that are happening with all the corporations. Some rich corporations, very, very wealthy corporations and individuals are starting to buckle under the pressure. Doing some, backpedaling in some very weird ways. And this leads to another thing that I like to call I'm going to call a domino effect of this. Or another domino effect, I guess you could say, is maybe somebody else that was thinking about doing this. One of the thousands of other people that was thinking about doing this is going to look at this story and be like, this is having more of an effect than I thought it was having. And they're going to get like, I hate this word because I hate it so much because it was used after W or 9/11, something. It was never used until that happened. W or 9/11 or whatever. Emboldened. They're going to suddenly get some cojones they never had. They're going to be like, And if just one more motherfucker succeeds in killing another CEO, oh my God. Or a rich person. It doesn't have to be a CEO. It can just be a really rich motherfucker. One more person does it, and damn, shit is going to get fucking wild. It doesn't even have to be in the US. It can be just someone in the UK or I don't know, anywhere that has guns, because places like Germany, shit. It would be even more wild if it was like Australia or someplace that like really regulates guns, and someone just walks out and like Australia, because I think Australia has extreme gun regulation laws. If it was someplace like that and someone just walks out into broad daylight and just fucking pops one in some dude's head and gets away, and he's just like fucking gone. Yeah. Something like that happens. It's just gonna be fucked up. But yeah. I think it's also a kind of cathartic moment for society. A good kind of a venting thing. It's like, whew, man. A lot of people are like, whew, I've been wanting to do that for a long fucking time. I'm glad somebody did it. Everybody's like, ooh, I feel like I let off some steam because of that. Whoever did that. I'm like, I feel better now. Like the clouds lifted just a little bit. I didn't do it, but I feel like I did it. For some reason. I don't know. And also, I feel a little bit better about using my United Healthcare card now. It's like, yeah, I'm not getting the great coverage, but I don't know. I feel a little cleaner using the United Healthcare. I have United Healthcare, by the way, because I'm on disability and whatever. I don't care. I never did care. I just cared mainly about getting my medication. I'm on epilepsy, so it doesn't matter. If I get my medication, I'm fucking okay. Whatever. One thing I do care about, though, is sometimes I get a bill for like emergency room or something. And I always love getting the bill because it's like Medicare paid 800, another line Medicare paid 200, Medicare paid 60, and then like it's me and you owe $12, and I'm like, what? So Medicare paid a total of over $1,000, but I still got to pay $12. What the fuck? Just why don't you just? I'd be like, I got it. I paid $12. I already paid it. Don't tell anyone. What's the? I mean, seriously, how does that affect your bottom line? Oh no, we didn't get Everett's $12. Better file for bankruptcy. So that guy's dead, anyways. I guess the angels will have to close down heaven for a moment of silence. Whatever. That guy was maybe a good dad or something. I don't know. I don't really care. He was just a person. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a whole spectrum of people that have died over the past year, 5, 10 years, that were, you know, everybody talks about the claim denials, but what they don't talk about is the soft effects of the healthcare system. And what I mean by that is why I don't go to the doctor. I don't give a shit about going to the doctor. I don't care. But I don't go because usually it takes a long time to get an appointment. I love Star Trek because of so many reasons. But you know what I really like about Star Trek? The fucking doctors. I'm sick. You go to sick bay, right? The doctor scans you and you go, it's just what's wrong. Let me take care of you right fucking now. No, all right, we can get you in for an appointment in. All right, the next time I have an appointment is 3 weeks from now, and then we can get you in. You go in for your appointment 20 minutes early. Get there. fill out paperwork, wait. Appointment's at 10:30. Go in at 10:40, 10:45. And they weigh you, do all that stuff, get into the place you're supposed to get into. After 10 minutes, 10:40, 10:45, and you get in there, 10:50, 10:55, and you wait some more. All right. I don't know what the doctor's doing. I'm assuming he's looking at my chart. Sometimes, by the time you get to the doctor, sometimes you can tell they didn't look at the fucking chart. Whatever. So, appointment was at 10:30. It's 11 o'clock. Did I make the appointment for 10:30 or 11? This is exactly problem number one. And seriously. Now, then you see him, and I don't know about any of you or past me. Maybe if I watch this 30 years in the future, things have significantly changed. Does anyone ever get their problem fixed? I mean, it's like a solve rate of less than 5% for me. It's severely zero. Medicine is, I mean, if I went into the place with like a broken bone, which is trauma, I think that's what they classify that shit as. Some kind of trauma. Medicine can handle that stuff. We want to deal with that stuff. But man, I don't go into the doctor for that kind of stuff. I don't think most people go into doctors for any of that stuff most of the time. And when they do, we don't need a fucking primary care doctor. Nobody needs a primary care doctor for a busted bone. That's what the ER is for. Or a busted bone, or a fucking this, or a fucking that. Maybe you need a primary care doctor when you go in to see if the cast is ready to come off. But that's it. I need a fucking primary care because I'm like, what the fuck is going on with the fucking this? And they're like, well, it could be this, could be that, could be this, could be that, could be this, could be that. And I'm like, great. But what is it? I thought you went to med school. I didn't come here for you to tell me it could be any of these things, let alone if I'm fat, you could be like, well, it could be your weight. It's like, oh, really? Because I didn't think of that, by the way. It could be my weight. Oh, really? Doy. Wow. You're a fucking genius. You cracked the fucking case. So, anyways, that was just great. I went off on a semi-tangent here, but we're still dealing with healthcare. Not so much corporate healthcare, but still. Anyways, yeah. But I'm sure we could get better results if we took the profit motive out of it. So you take profit out of a lot of things, and you can get better. You can get better stuff out of it, especially stuff that profit has no business being in there, anyways. The only reason profit is in healthcare is to segregate it. You have to create a firewall in healthcare. That's the reason profit is in healthcare. I mean, you have to use your brain in order to figure these things out and not listen to the talking points. The reason profit is in healthcare is to create you put the paywall in there so that you can divvy up the services so that you can make sure that the people that are no good, the poors, get a certain quality of healthcare, which means that all the good healthcare goes to the people that deserve it. You know, the rich. Because rich people have a undeserved flavor of arrogance. And they always have. It has been inherited through, I guess that would be something like 200 generations of wealth. Now, I would prefer it's dismissed to a non-violent revolution. Some way of getting rid of, you gotta get rid of that kind of just get rid of the entire system that underpins that mentality, but I don't see that happening anytime soon because they have such a hold on the mentality of most of the world, or at least enough of the world. I mean, you only need something like 20% of the dumbs to sway things in your favor. So, yeah. You only need to convince 15 to 20% of people. It's not just America, but all over the world. 20% of poor people that they can be rich, that you're on their side in order to make a revolution, not a revolution. And that's worked the entire time. It'll continue to work. Because these people, these 20ish% can't figure it out. And then, the upper 30%, I don't blame them. They actually have it's self-interest. They, they're on the winning side. They don't have, the only reason they would have would be they're a good person. They actually see the world and it's fucked up. Or they actually have made the mental leap that, and this is a hard mental leap for some people to make, even if they're rich, is that the world would overall actually be better. Because here's the curious part. Most people are actually pretty dumb. It's not differently distributed based on wealth. It's the same distribution, regardless of how much money you have. You can be very dumb, Trumpy, even if you're rich. You know how I know? Because he fucking wasted all of his money that he inherited. So, yeah. There's a lot of stories of people inheriting wealth and either doing nothing with it, not really growing the fortune, or wasting a lot of it and just having kids, and then they're one of the responsible ones has to grow it back up again. So whatever. That's why if you're wealthy, you've got to at least not be dumb enough to just put it in one person's hands because you're, oh God, whatever. The point is, the guy killed someone. Okay. Regardless of whether Luigi killed him or somebody else killed him. Finally, we got someone who's a killer who killed someone that needed to die. And that needed to be removed. And you know who the heroes of this are? The killer and the guy that got killed. They're both heroes. All right? Legendary heroes. All right? They are. They're both heroes. The shooter and the victim. They're both fucking heroes. I don't know, maybe his wife and kids, the victim, wife and kids, they won't probably ever be able to see it that way. But the guy's a fucking hero. So, yeah. And he'll be more of a hero if there's somebody else that gets killed after him. A rich person that gets killed after him. Oh, then he'll be a fucking, I wouldn't say martyr, because, it's got different qualities, characteristics that are necessary. Build towards it. And you have to have an actual cause that, whatever. But, yeah. Because if this thing was a typical, oh, it's just a fad thing, blah blah blah, it would have died down by now. It's This thing is certainly lasting longer than a lot of the usual shit, which means this whole healthcare thing actually has a lot more. There's a lot more fire here in this sentiment of people getting fucked over by the all of the garbage in healthcare. So yeah, everyone's gonna have to deal with this. Anyways, this is 30 minutes long, and I'm just fucking blathering. But it's a good test of the camera. It lasted for 31 minutes. So I don't know what's going on with this thing. What the fuck? Anyways, you like my new place? This is a door. That's an outlet. This is my head, and I'm not shaved. Towel. You see the towel? All right. Oops.